it's me, Zach, and my well taken care of dog, Poe, and welcome back to our channel. Hey everybody, hi, hello! It's the end of the year. How was your 2025? How was it really, really, truly? I'm gonna be so honest with you all. 2025 has been a journey for me. It's been a journey here on YouTube. It's been a journey in my personal life. I think y'all have seen a wide spectrum of what has gone on with me. And also, obviously, I don't say everything on the internet, although I probably absolutely overshared at some point, because it's mental illness, isn't it, love? So anyways, I hope y'all are feeling at peace going in to 2026, knowing that you've made it another year and we live in a hellscape, and the fact that your body, your mind got you here today, got you to another year, that's something worth celebrating. So do so responsibly this evening with all your friends and loved ones and people you care about. But I just briefly today want to get one last whack in for my colleague, French Fried Girl, FFG, Anne Marie. Hey, Diva. Hi. Hey, have you met Poe? Do you know the difference between my dogs? So Poe is currently living. Poe's here, currently alive, looking at me crazy, but he's currently here. I had another dog. Her name was Judy. She passed away in 2024. I just want to make sure we're clear, because half the time the FFG wants to come on the internet and talk about my dogs, it doesn't sound like she has a fucking clue who they are or what they're doing, outside of the fact that, like, she read on a forum somewhere that something bad allegedly happened to them. But anyways, yeah, you might be like, Zach, has she really said anything about you recently? Well, no. No, she hasn't. Not really. I mean, she did put up, she did say a little bit about me that I didn't cover on here. I made a note about it. It's right up here. We're going to talk about it a little bit today. She kept a note up here. She doesn't forget. Actually, this brain does forget a lot, but I kept a note. But what's more important to me is that recently, and by recently it also wasn't actually that recently, but it's definitely been within the past month, FFG made this vague threat that she was going to come for every last single person who caused her to face backlash because of BBJ. Because, you know, as you know, she lied about BBJ for now a couple years at least, didn't tell her audience that BBJ passed away. But she went on to say that she wouldn't actually do any of this threatening until January.
You guys know we're sitting on one strike until January anyway. I'm not pushing it, okay? Oh, I see. Well, there you go. You got your wish, dipshit. How about that? Get fucked, stay fucked, and stay the fuck far away from me. All I'm going to say now is that I'm not saying now, because I've been told not to. A day will come, and not too far, inshallah, where I'll be able to talk, and I'll be able to shred one by one all these motherfuckers who are so obviously playing this game. And I will also verbally and otherwise shred the little motherfucker who started all of this. Until then, I stay silent. Just keep giving enough rope for people to hang themselves with. That's how I'm doing it right now. I've been advised to. But wait, you stupid pieces of shit. In this, I'm not talking to you guys. You know what? Wait until I can speak. That's all I got to say for now. No, you're right. I never said anything about him. And I also never said anything about Just Breezing, the absolute dipshit. Just boozing today, just boozing tomorrow, just boozing forever, who got arrested for beating up her grandpa while she was drunk. She beat up her grandpa. These motherfuckers, they all want to talk. That's fine. You know what? It's your prerogative in life to talk. And it's my prerogative in life to regret staying silent and now opening my big fat fucking mouth. You drunk. And you fucking incel, you freaks, the two of you. You deserved each other, truly. Okay, I'm literally, I'm getting carried away because I hate these motherfuckers. Okay, I'm gonna shut the fuck up until January. Like I said, it's not about it this month. This is the fundraiser. I don't want these fucking streams getting strucken down by YouTube and shit. January. It's a new year. It's a new Frenchie. It's a new fucking, I would say a new attitude, but it's the same old fucking attitude. Fuck all of you people. The tone knob. Uh, I don't know how to say this nicely. I don't mean this as an attack on you, but um, I you can be on board or not be on board. It doesn't mean I'm not gonna do it because that bitch has some fucking nerve. She literally got drunk and beat up her grandpa. Let's be so fucking for real, okay? Hi guys. The sweeter the voice, the more fucking fake the bitch. I will always stand by that. And I clocked her for the fake fucking piece of shit that she. I said I was gonna shut up. I'm shutting up. January, we'll rediscuss.
So January's tomorrow, and I live by Chicago drag queen icon, RuPaul's Drag Race icon, All Stars winner Shea Coulee. She once upon a time said, "If you stay ready, you don't have to get ready." And so that's what we're doing today with Miss FFG. If she's gonna come out here and try to come for everybody who came for her in January, then I'm gonna be ready. I'm gonna be ready, okay? And granted, I think she's mostly, I would assume she's mostly talking about, well, her brother Chris, who continues to just drag her on the internet. Probably Charlie, because she's had this hate boner for Charlie Gold for quite a few years now. And then probably Yaba and Sam as well. But I assume that she's going to lump me in there with them because I did, in fact, make a few videos about her and about her lying about BBJ. And on that note, I want to say, if you're one of her fans and stans, I have probably responded to every single argument or piece of feedback you have to give me in terms of like, oh, you're jealous. Oh, you're doing Charlie Gold's bidding. Oh, you're doing this. You're doing that. You're only coming after FFG because you're jealous. Oh, I'm so jealous. First of all, if you could let me know what it is that I'm jealous about her, we can start there. But I also did already address all of that. I've addressed all of those basic ass, tired ass arguments that FFG and her stans and fans like to make. So I'm gonna leave the playlist. Not that I think logic and reasoning works with these people, okay? The people that follow FFG, they are not the brightest crayons in the box. They're not the sharpest tools in the shed. So I don't think they're gonna sit here and listen to logic and reasoning. I mean, look who their leader is. It's FFG. She's not also somebody who's out here really trying to deal with reason and logic. But in the off chance that you are interested, I have a French fried fraud playlist that you can go check out where I actually probably address all of the concerns you're about to type away in my comments about anyways. And I don't want to get too much into it because I really, really don't have any interest in her personal beef with her brother. But FFG really is losing it on the Twitter, and I think she benefits from people not really going over there a whole lot, which is like her prerogative. Do whatever you want on whatever platform you want to do it. But Miss Man was fully out here sharing one of the last like handwritten notes her now deceased mother left for her, where basically her mother was like begging her to try to get along with her brother and reconcile with him. And look what FFG is out here doing, stoking the flames. Stoking the flames because Chris came out here and said, hey, you guys, you should start asking what date did FFG know that BBJ passed away, because I don't think she's being honest with you. And now here we are. So, again, in the event that Miss FFG has some kind of heat to give me, to throw my way, to send my way, I just want to address some of the few things that she has said about me since I last did content about her. One of the major things where she actually addressed me as a concept was responding to somebody in her chat who was misquoting what I said about her live streams and her fundraising through them. And she also goes on to say that I've never done fundraising, so I wouldn't know.
Village fundraisers don't go directly to the place you want to donate. Is there any way you can clarify or explain how it works? Well, the donate button, you're not donating to me, you're not donating to YouTube. YouTube facilitates between us and chosen charity association, in this case, ASPCA. So it does go directly from YouTube to the ASPCA. And YouTube covers, there's like a donation charge that usually would come out of the donation. YouTube covers the cost even for the donation to be made. I would say that somebody who's never done a fundraiser ever might not know how that works. We've done them plenty over here. You can look it up on Google exactly how it works for yourself. But no, the money does go directly to the association involved. Again, maybe if that person had done a fundraiser ever even once, they would know a little bit about it.
I do just want to clarify again, and I can show you the clip of where I talked about this, but let me be very clear. When FFG initially announced that she would be fundraising every single video of December, every single live stream of December, she would be doing a fundraiser through the YouTube like tool and function that you can use to do fundraising on this platform. She had only talked about using that feature. She had not said anything about what she was going to do with her AdSense money or anything like that. I also want to be clear that if she's doing this through the like fundraising like tool that's on YouTube, that doesn't mean any money out of her pocket, just to be clear, because I was gonna set something up like this once upon a time, a long time ago, for something completely unrelated. And in my head, I was like, oh, if I set this up as a fundraiser, that means that automatically, like, my AdSense or whatever is gonna go to the organization that I'm donating to, right? And when I realized that it didn't, I was like, well, I don't want to do this anymore. Like, the point of this isn't for me, because really what happens is that it adds a link onto your video, your live stream, whatever it might be, for your viewers to click and donate to said organization. It just provides an avenue, which is still great. It's still great to bring awareness to organizations and things like that. But I just want to be clear, if people think that FFG is sitting over here giving up her slice of the pie, her AdSense money for a whole month, that's not what she's doing. That's not what she's doing. And maybe she's gonna go on to say, I will match whatever you guys raise, or something like that. If she does that, great, stunning. And all I did in my video when I talked about that was clarify how that tool worked. I just clarified, hey, FFG doesn't have to spend any of her money on this. Like, all she's getting y'all to do is to donate your own money, which is fine and is good. It's not a bad thing. Happy to give some charity and some philanthropy out there to nonprofit orgs that need it. But I was just saying, if this is supposed to show some kind of good faith on her end, that she is out here doing good things, she had not yet addressed if she would be contributing her AdSense money to that. I do believe that since then, FFG has come out and said, well, yes, I will also be donating my AdSense money to this cause. I just want to say I can understand, I've been there, I understand the inclination of just automatically wanting to believe something that somebody comes into your chat and says. And I know I already said in this video today that FFG isn't necessarily somebody that wants to like stand on logic and reasoning. I know this about her. It's clear that she doesn't give a shit about logic and reasoning. She just wants to say stuff and have people believe it. And because of that, it's clear that her thing is like, if somebody comes into my chat and says something shitty about somebody I don't like, I'm just gonna believe it's true. And while I'm sure I can't make any changes in her mind about how she runs content on her channel, I think we could all afford to be a little bit more skeptical about what random people in our live stream chats have to say, or at the very least try to find out more information before we say crazy things on the internet. And in regards to the claims about me never doing fundraising and things like that before, it's just not true. I mean, at a minimum, here's a community tab post that I made back when I was doing a charity stream on my Twitch channel. And I actually don't have to do any fundraising through that fundraising tool to be able to know how it works, because it's something that's available to all YouTube partners. I mentioned in my video that I actually had one time looked into using it because I thought that it was going to be a thing where it automatically donated my AdSense from YouTube to that organization. And when I realized that it was just there to ask my audience to donate money to it, I opted out of doing that. The thing that FFG struggles with is that she doesn't understand what it's like to just do philanthropy, to donate money to people, things, organizations that you care about, just because you're doing it from the good of your heart. I already addressed this in the original video, but like, I don't do things for the purposes of the internet. In fact, I used to post a lot more about causes and things that I care about, and I still do to some extent. I've really done a lot of reevaluating over the years of like how I spend my mental energy, what I think is worth it to sit on the internet and potentially have to argue with people about. And so I just really respect my energy, and especially for topics that I care about. And when it comes to donating and stuff like that, people were calling me a virtue signaler, a white knight, a this, that, the other. And so then I just started donating the things on my own without talking about it. I have a long history of being involved in volunteer work and philanthropy, going all the way back to when I was in undergrad and was fully in a service organization where I literally almost every weekend was out in my community volunteering for stuff. I don't have as much time to spend doing that these days, and so now instead I utilize my financial means to do that, to donate to organizations and whatnot. But again, I'm not doing it because I got caught doing something bad, like lying about a cat being dead for 2 years. So I don't feel the need to parade it around or make a big deal out of it, because I just do it with what I'm able to do. So I hope that clears up FFG's concerns about philanthropy for fundraising and things like that. I think the biggest takeaway actually is to just not believe everything you read in your chat, FFG, because it really makes you look fucking stupid, which maybe isn't a hard feat to do, maybe doesn't take a lot of effort to do, but you certainly don't have to help them. And in that same live stream, she later puts up a chat on the screen about me neglecting my dog again. I want to be clear in everything that I'm about to say is that, like, I really trust and believe that most people who know me, who watch me, don't put a lot of merit into this story. A lot of people are like, I can't believe Zach's out here, like, feeling like they have to explain themselves again about this. Like, we know it's not a problem. And I just want to be clear, anything that I have to say about my care for Poe, or any receipts that I provide about my care for Poe, isn't necessarily to prove anything to anybody, because like I said, I don't think a lot of the people who believe this about me are interested in conversations of logic and reasoning and proof and evidence. But what it is intended to do, what we are about to do here, is to provide an example for FFG about just how easy it is to demonstrate proof of vet care, to demonstrate how easy it is to provide records that show the things that you're saying. Because listen, I've been pretty open to the idea. I have said, and I generally still do believe this, unless more information comes out, but like, I have said that I trust that FFG was getting BBJ the care that she needed, but I also know a lot of people don't think that FFG provided that care, especially because FFG is unwilling to share the date that BBJ passed away. And it's because of that I'm just gonna try to help FFG out here a little bit and share some background via evidence, via proof, via receipts, via correspondence I actually had with my veterinarian on the care of Poe. Now, some of this is through emails that I exchanged back and forth with my vet, and I've obviously removed information so that people can't go identify who my vet is or what they do or where they're at or anything like that. But here we go. Are you ready? So, as I noted, Poe had a regularly scheduled dental cleaning examination with the vet. That is also when I took them in a urine sample because he had been having some accidents in the home. And also, as I said, I had been in conversation with the vet about his behavior, about his anxiety and things like that, long before I initially took in the urine sample and he had this dental cleaning. He was already on medication for anxiety as prescribed by his doctor. So the first email that you're gonna see from me is me discussing with them what to do post him getting his x-ray as a result of the crystals that they found in his urine from the urine sample. I also want to note that the vet that I take Poe to has multiple vets that sometimes see Poe. And one of the vets just transitioned into primarily working with cats, and so he was transitioning to seeing some new care, but I still wanted her to be involved in the conversation. And because of that, you're now going to see that I'm talking to two different vets at his veterinarian office. This is different than my friend who's a vet who also gave me additional advice, insight, etc., a second opinion. So really, truly, 3 different opinions here, okay? Anyways, here's the email. I said, hello. I had a long day yesterday, so I'm just now getting to this. I know you've prioritized cats now, and the last time Poe was there, outside of his dental, we met with Dr. So-and-so. I'm happy to converse with Dr. So-and-so to make sure that Poe's care is streamlined. The last conversation we had with Dr. So-and-so, we increased Poe's Zoloft dosage. I had also asked about getting as-needed trazodone for his anxiety. Dr. So-and-so felt like it would be too much to increase Zoloft and have as-needed trazodone. Dr. So-and-so, Dr. Original Doctor, had previously prescribed Xanax as needed, but the Xanax never really made a difference for him. We were given trazodone for his dental, so they did provide us with trazodone to give to him prior to taking him in to get this dental cleaning done. My understanding is that they provide that for all dogs, as the dental cleaning is a really stressful situation. They also gave me more than was needed for just that appointment. So I go on to say, since there was more given to me than we needed, we have tried it twice now. It seemed helpful when I was introducing him to my friend's dog. I actually gave him some today because the cleaner is here cleaning my condo. And I feel like he's still pretty stressed when he remembers she's here, but otherwise he's pretty out of it. I can move forward with scheduling the ultrasound if it helps eliminate an issue, I suppose. Best, Zach. And I was hesitant to schedule an ultrasound if there was something else we could do. I mean, this is the entirety of what people are upset about, right? Like, I was exploring all of the options. You might not like the choices that were suggested to me by my veterinarian. You might not like the choices or decisions I made about my dog based on the suggestions of my veterinarians. But to say that I've like neglected him or abused him or done anything like that, simply because I took him to the vet, because I had these conversations with my vet, because I sought out multiple avenues for taking care of him and resolving his issue, it's crazy. And I hope you know that that's what you sound like, FFG, when you parrot these things on your live streams about me. The doctor got back to me and said, I saw the most recent notes about Poe. I'm so sorry he's having these accidents again. There's always a possibility this is a behavioral situation. Is he still on Zoloft? And if so, have we increased the dose at all? We have some room to go with that if needed. It sounds like there has been a lot going on in the last year for both of you, so this is a definite possibility. The only thing that makes me think it's not behavioral is that apparently his bladder did appear a bit odd in the x-ray. You are right, they could do an ultrasound and it's totally normal, but then we may know that it's more behavioral. I still would consider doing this. I hope this helps. I have a day full of appointments, but may be able to call at the end of the day if you still have questions. Otherwise, I'll be back on Friday, and you can always see if one of the other vets has time to talk tomorrow. So again, I think it was like a little confusing here because like I obviously had just talked to them about how he is on Zoloft and we had increased the dosage. And again, because it was like 2 different doctors, I had to repeat that information for her, but not a big deal. I ultimately end up responding and saying, all right, let's do an ultrasound to check that off the list. I imagine behavior stuff will still matter because he just has an absolute meltdown every time he thinks I'm leaving. It doesn't seem reasonable that I give him trazodone every time I leave my home, so I feel like I need all the solutions I can get. But also, how do I decide what rises to the occasion of needing trazodone? Now, I ended up talking on the phone with somebody after this where they answered that question, so I don't have an email for that. They did actually tell me that it was fine to give him trazodone daily if needed, and in fact I could give it to him every 8 hours if I wanted to. However, I did not and do not and never have. I strictly limit it to when I know I'm going to be gone for more than like an hour, or if like I have people coming over, or if we're going to do something stressful like going to the vet, going to the groomer, etc. So I don't give it to him every day. I only give it to him when he's really stressed. And in fact, all of the vets that I talked to about this said that the more we did this in stressful events, that would help him get accustomed to doing those things, so that in the future, he would just be fine with them, even if he potentially didn't have the trazodone to help him. The other doctor also got back to me in response to my concerns and said, "Hi Zach, I read the updates about Poe and wanted to add my input since I've seen him most recently, and we discussed some changes to his medication plan at that time. If you haven't seen an improvement with increasing the sertraline, that's like the generic name for Zoloft, sertraline, and I'm probably not saying it right, dose, then I do think adding in some additional short-acting medication for those more stressful situations is warranted. We had discussed trazodone at your visit, so we can definitely start there. If you think that it has helped the couple of times you've tried it so far, we can definitely refill that. There are some other classes of this type of drug we could also reach for, so let me know if you don't think it is doing enough for him. I would also consider talking to a behavioral specialist if we are really struggling to help Poe cope with his anxiety. These doctors deal exclusively with behavior concerns, and they are experts at managing these tougher cases." She goes on to suggest 2 different clinics that I'm going to black out because I don't need y'all being weird. I did not actually end up seeking them out because the medicine really has helped his anxiety. He has had a lot of improvement, but I absolutely would have considered that as an option had things not gotten better for Poe. She ends on saying, "In terms of the ultrasound, I think that Dr. So-and-so is correct in saying that it doesn't hurt to rule a medical problem out. It will be hard to say whether or not the urination is related to behavior versus a urinary tract abnormality otherwise. If this isn't within your means right now, though, I think it's also okay on his anxiety as long as his urinary symptoms aren't overwhelmingly problematic." So like I said, we got x-rays after there were crystals found in his urine. Here's the literal x-ray right here on the screen to show that I did in fact give him medical care. We did in fact seek medical advice. And here's also a document that they sent me after he had his ultrasound done. You can see under patient history, it says highly anxious dog with a history of urinary accidents, but accidents occurring more frequently recently and seems to have more urgency to urinate. Mild, I'm assuming that's crystals. I don't know what all those words are. Noted on recent UA with no other significant findings. Unable to visualize the urinary bladder on 1V lateral abdominal radiograph. Concerned that the bladder was caudally displaced due to opacity in the perineal area. No perineal abnormalities were obvious on PE. Like I said, that ultrasound suggested that his prostate was enlarged. I've explained that the vet told me that it could be cancer, especially if he was neutered young, but he wasn't neutered young. And the conclusions in this document that they sent me explain that further. It says prostate enlargement with mild mineralization is concerning for prostatic neoplasia. If the patient was neutered as a puppy, it may be from benign prostatic hyperplasia if neutered later in life. Like I've said previously, every time I brought up this situation, the rest of the phone calls or the rest of the communication happened in phone calls that I had with his vet. And while the vet did suggest that there was a chance that this could be cancer, they talked me through all of the things that would mean for Poe, who's already an anxious dog. In addition to concerns about cost of the procedures and things like that, which honestly were the lowest of the concerns, right? but nevertheless, something that obviously I would take into account considering making a decision like this. They also said that the testing that would be required would be really stressful on him. He would be really anxious, and for a dog that already is struggling with anxiety, they said that it would make sense if I wanted to try to address that anxiety first before moving on with that. And that's what we did. And Poe has been fine. Poe has had, actually, in the past 2 months, like no accidents. For a while he was still having an accident occasionally, and knock on wood, I suppose it could still happen, but he's been doing really well, and he's made a shit ton of improvement. And again, this isn't necessarily to prove to anybody outside of more so just sharing with FFG how easy it is to share some of this information with people, because it would reasonably be readily available for her to share if she had it. And I also do all of this because the thing that FFG strives on and thrives on is saying a bunch of shit without any receipts. And it's really crazy how similar she is to the girls in that sense. How many times have we seen Amber Lynn and Chantal run with something that wasn't true that a person in their live stream chats told them and just automatically 100% believe it? In particular, when it's somebody that they don't like, they're always ready to believe the worst about that person. And that's what FFG did here. So I'm just saying it one more time. FFG, it's time to start producing some receipts for everything. If you're really gonna come out in January, guns a-blazing, then you better back it up with some kind of documented proof, history, etc. And similarly, if you want people to leave you alone about BBJ and what date BBJ actually passed away, then just bring some receipts and tell the people. You can sit here and block and filter words in your chat so people can't bring it up. You can tell your moderators to block people when they bring up BBJ.
Mods. I feel... Hi, Muds. I love you guys for real. So appreciate you guys. Just fucking block the shit out of all the fucking hoes. I don't give a fuck. Okay, I genuinely, truly mean that. Don't worry about diplomacy and timeout. You just mod your little fucking hearts. No, I don't want to say no one cares, but we're moving forward, as we said, and you hosts can stay behind.
But the real solution here, FFG, is to just start being honest with your audience. When did BBJ pass away? FFG, when? That's it. That's the simple question. One word. When. Anyways, that's all I have time for today. I hope you all enjoyed today's video. I hope you all have a wonderful new year. Thanks so much for watching, and if you're brand new, consider subscribing down below. Hit the bell button so you get a notification every single time I post a new video. Make sure to leave me a comment, hit like, click share, and follow me on all my social media. Bye!